Looks like the US could avoid going over the cliff after all. A deal perhaps in sight as Obama gives ground on taxing the highest earners. The yen still hovering near 20-month lows as newly elected Prime Minister Abe puts pressure on the BOJ for more drastic monetary stimulus. And AIG marks the end of an era in Asia with the sale of its remaining stake in AIA. First, US Treasury yields coming off two-month highs on hopes hopes rise, rather, that policymakers in Washington will reach a deal this week to avert the automatic spending cuts and tax hikes due to kick in on January 1st, the so-called fiscal cliff. Sources close to the talks say Obama has made a significant concession, leaving lower tax rates in place for everyone earning $400,000 and above. That is higher than the $250,000 threshold he's been demanding for months, but of course well short of the $1 million favoured by Republicans. Still, Republican Speaker John Boehner has welcomed that move. Markets taking heart, equities and commodities all moving up. Let's speak with Fiona Cincotta, market analyst, City Index. Morning to you, Fiona. Pretty big concession from the White House. It seems like it's enough to calm the markets for now.
Well, exactly. I mean, this is really good news. We're starting to see some compromise. We're starting to see some perhaps more action than what we have seen. There's definitely been a huge stalemate that's been sitting over the markets and sentiment for the markets over the past few weeks. So this is actually really exactly what the market's looking for. We just need to see that it gets followed through. This really has been dampening sentiment over the past few weeks, as I said, and it's been capping the market. So what we've seen is the S&P just yesterday hit a two-month high, which is great news. We're hoping to see that the markets will push on up this morning following this positive news.
And if this deal can get done, how much further have these equity markets got to run in 2013, do you think?
Well, exactly. This is what's been holding the markets back. So we are expecting to see, a good rally from the back of this. However, going into 2013, we do have other issues that we need to contend with. Europe, the Eurozone crisis, that's not going away, however much we'd like it to.
And Draghi, of course, warned yesterday of this challenging economic environment. What did you take from his words yesterday?
Exactly. He does warn of this environment that's going to be challenging. I mean, until now, we had seen that perhaps Brussels were thinking that things were looking perhaps a little bit more optimistic and that the worst is over. But I think what we're seeing really is that this is not going to be the case. I mean, especially we've had some comments from China as well, that they're completely concerned over the state of what could happen to the Eurozone in 2013. So we've still got, Spain to contend with what's going to happen there. Greece, it doesn't appear that we're out of the woods as far as that's concerned either. And Italy, I mean, there's a huge political row that's sort of erupting over there. So there's still a lot to be holding the markets back.
RBS is in focus, of course. UBS is in focus, of course. What's your focus today on specific corporates?
Yeah, it's been a dirty year for the banks, I think. I mean, as far as the banks are concerned, we do want to get a line drawn under this LIBOR rigging. It's been carrying on for a bit too long now. I do think, though, that the financials will actually be doing quite well, perhaps not because of the focus on RBS, but because of the news from America. So we will be seeing perhaps miners, financials, risk-on areas that are going to be actually doing quite well today.
Great. Fiona, thanks a lot. 100 years of history come to an end in Asia today as bailed-out US insurer AIG pulls out of the region. It's raised $6.5 billion from the sale of its remaining stake in AIA. The company floated off in Hong Kong 2 years ago. AIG took a $182 billion bailout from the US administration at the height of the crisis. Still in Asia, Bank of Japan is to ease policy further when it meets later this week and consider incoming Prime Minister Abe's proposal for a 2% inflation target, according to sources. Let's get to Tara in Hong Kong. Is the BOJ expected to heed Abe's call, Tara?
Well, that is what we're hearing, at least sources telling Reuters, Axel, that the Bank of Japan governor made a visit to Abe's headquarters today, where Abe made a direct push for this earlier, and that hope that there'll be a 2% inflation target set in January and that they'll move on rates straight away. Right now, it feels as if Japan's efforts to get the economy moving are moving very fast. So Abe forms a cabinet before the end of December, and we will also get a new finance minister, probably Taro Aso, who's an old party hand, who will also toe Abe's line.
Just generally, what are people saying about the transition process? Is it likely to be a smooth transition of power into the new government?
Well, it seems that way. Abe is moving incredibly fast. And of course, he had an overwhelming victory in these elections. This is what the people want him to do. So it seems all set to happen. Tomorrow morning, we're going to get a grim reminder of the state of the economy. The trade figures are coming out. They're exposed to be the 6th month of really ugly figures in trade. It's a reminder that Japan really needs to move forward, and I think this is what the public wants to see. You take a look at the stock market today, 8.5-month highs for the Nikkei.
All right, Tara, thanks a lot. Top world news on Reuters this morning. A Reuters Ipsos poll suggests the massacre of 20 children and 6 adults at a school in Connecticut have changed Americans' views on guns. Some 50% of people surveyed after the shooting said gun ownership needs restrictions. That's up from 42% before the massacre. A growing number of US lawmakers, including a leading pro-gun senator, are calling for curbs on assault weapons. That's it for this morning. I'll leave you with our pick of the day, which comes from Reuters photographer Shannon Stapleton. A single candle honors the victims of the Sandy Hook school shootings, seen here in the window sill of a nearby home. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.